Hello the trooper and welcome to this video. I am DodgeMasterSama. I'm trying out a new intro. Please tell me if it's good. But it will be fun to, tell people who I am. Dodge. I dodge things. Is it too much? I don't know. Today we're doing the video of 500 questions. No. We're celebrating 500 subs with a Q&A. Not 500 questions, that would be crazy. But I thank everyone for giving me many questions. So, first of all, we got Ag with the question: what was your favorite game / system when you were growing up? I looked at my consoles and stuff, they're all my babies. I love them. Favorite series is the PlayStation. That's the series I've always played a lot more than the others, and I've always come back to a lot more. The PS5 is also high up there. I love the remakes. Other than that, I do have the Super Nintendo. It's very, very nostalgic. It's one of my favorite babies also. The Sega also has a favorite spot there, nostalgic and connection with the family and the past. My favorite game is also very difficult for me to answer. It's more like favorite game series in a way. I think Shadow of Colossus is probably very high up there. Shadow of Colossus is magical for me, and I played it several times. The creators of Shadow of Colossus, they have also created the other games. I also love them. Ico, The Last Guardian, Shadow of Colossus. Those are high on my list because it's always very magical games. I got my shelf with a lot of games, and I did make that shelf in a way of these are my favorite games, but also some games that I need to try and actually play. They've been in my backlog for years, still in plastic and such, so I need to play them. Whose Foos comes with the question of who would win the battle between you and that kid in the GIF. So the thing is, the kid in the GIF is actually 23 years old. His name is Hasbullah. He's a Russian media personality. He has dwarfism caused by a growth hormone deficiency. I've seen him a couple of times on the internet. He's very into boxing and stuff, so he's very into that type of sport, and he has his gloves on in the GIF, and that's why I'm gonna say that I would probably lose. Probably studied a little bit of where to swing those arms correctly, and he would give me one good punch and I would be knocked out. What is my favorite food? Sushi. Big fan of sushi. What is your favorite color? If it's not purple, what is wrong with you? So that's two questions in one. I love all colors. I like the color harmony. Is that an answer? I'm looking at my tapestry here in my bedroom and maybe green would be something I'm a bit more drawn to in general. I like green, forest, let's call it forest green. Purple is nice in many ways, but it's not favorite. But color harmony, I love it. So what is wrong with me then? Why isn't green your favorite color? I hope the friendship will continue between us, even though we have different opinions and likes when it comes to colors. Moving on. Jenny Miles asks, what is your favorite anime? My favorites have definitely changed with the years, and I would say in nowadays my brain always goes towards Attack on Titan. Shingeki no Kyojin. Why it's my favorite anime is because it's kind of a bit like Game of Thrones. It has a lot of these wow factors. So many times my jaw has basically been on the floor, and the music is so epic when these scenes happens. I don't know, I've had so many moments of chill and surprises in that anime, so it's one of my top favorites. What is your favorite video game character? I know you guys see it a lot in your streams and in your chat, and you're like, my waifu, I'm gonna woo waifu that one. And for me it's okay, what's my favorite game character? Trying to really remember characters that I've met in games and been yeah, I love this character, it's so much fun. This is my waifu. Detroit Become Human characters. Connor is my top favorite, especially when also when he's with Hank. Their dynamic, so much fun, and also the psychological aspect of it, how he kind of grows and changes throughout the game. Now he is an android, but me. He's definitely on my list of favorite character. He's so cool. Connor is my main man. What is your favorite music genre? I'm more of this song is good, therefore I love it. If I'm gonna pick out what I'm listening to a lot at the moment, a lot of bippity boppity music. A lot of TikTok trendy remixes. I really enjoy those. One question. What motivated you to become a YouTuber? Famochi asks. A question that I could never really sum up into like a short answer. The fame and glory! Joke aside, it's not only a joke, it's a bit of the truth, but it's a very small bit of the truth. A long time ago, 10+ years ago, I started watching PewDiePie and his game series of Amnesia, the game series for him that made him blow up on YouTube and become really popular. The possibilities that comes with YouTubing. It's really so creative and it's so open. And if you become a big content creator, you also get the freedom. It's such a creative field. You can do so many different things. And I actually enjoy like all of the different aspects. I also enjoy the editing and all of the possibilities that can come with like an actual career in it. It open up so many other doors also. And I fantasize about it like a daily. Daily I think about all of the possibilities that could come with it. And of course my dreams are pretty big. Actually being like a big YouTuber, you know, we're talking millions of subscribers, having good sponsorships and having good teamwork and having good collaborations and being able to like utilize the money that would come out of this. And I know a lot of people think and say these things. Being able to utilize the money coming from all of this and helping others and maybe starting up other companies and making change. Be able to create change. Long answer to what should have been maybe a shorter answer. Chibarina asks, what was your nickname in high school, or what was the weirdest nickname you ever got called? Based from like my actual name, which is Therese, Tessan, Tessiresan. And then one of the nicknames that was a little bit cooler was like Terror. Terrorist. It was based a lot from like Counter-Strike and stuff, and I did play a little bit of that when I was younger, terrorizing people. Oh yeah, well, we do also have the times when we're in Japan. We have BananaSama, for example, so I'm a bit of a banana. And I guess that's a funny one. Then we also have Aoi-sama. I had very blue hair when I was in Japan. And then just Teresa-sama. It kind of works together, like the spelling and how we say it. Teresa-sama. Chirina had another fun question for you. What is your favorite misunderstood song lyric? One that comes to mind is and I don't really remember the lyrics and stuff, but rock Bum Funk MC's Freestyler. This comment here sums it up perfectly. Bum Funk's MCs rock the microphone. Everybody else rock a microphone. that's the part. So that's the one song lyric I actually think about. Okay. Snurfs asks, Hi Tama, how do you cope with lack of sunlight this time of year? Does it affect your gaming in any way? I would go nuts. It is difficult, not gonna lie. I have actually gotten a lot better at handling it. It's a lot of, you know, working with your brain and a lot of like mindset, attitudes, thought patterns, being able to maybe even push a bit of toxic positivity on yourself. But of course, also overall making sure to fuel yourself with the right stuff, making sure to drink water, making sure to get some rest, making sure to do fun stuff, watch funny videos, do things that makes you get a little bit of that extra endorphin, have a snack, you know. The things that makes you happy. Some people also have it a lot harder because they don't get the vitamin D that helps with the body. It can be difficult. For me personally, I cope with it pretty well. Not gonna lie. And gaming actually helps. Does it get affected? Maybe to a very small extent. If you do get a little bit extra depressed, maybe you don't even want to play games. It's, you know, you get some fun, maybe you play with friends, and it brings the mood up and makes the darkness easier. Plus you get a lot of light. You get all of these screens and it just burns. That helps, you know? Get the light into your brain and you will feel like a bright light. Shine bright like a diamond. Anyways, going nuts on that one. I would go nuts. I am probably already nuts. I guess that helps also. Just go nuts, Nerf. Go nuts. Cynic asks, how did you choose your name? DodgeMasterSama. I am pretty good actually in games at dodging stuff. I have that little thing. Feel the movements. I can see the animations and I can feel it. What got you started in game development? The big question. the big question. To keep the answer small, you know, I like gaming. It was actually, I was working in an industry, doing orders for customers. I hated working there. It's not necessarily the job's fault. Many people really still, like, they enjoy their job. They were having cut downs, and I was one of the people that they were gonna cut out. With that, they then had a bit of a opportunity to be able to talk with a coach. I mentioned, well, I like gaming. I like to play games. And I'm also, you know, an artist. I wasn't very good back then. This was a very long time ago. So I talked with the coach, and she was like, well, we could talk with this company here in the city you live, and you can have a meeting with them and see what they say. So I took that opportunity. I brought some of the stuff that I've drawn, and I showcased a little bit shamefully because, you know, it wasn't very high level stuff, but it was what I had created. They were nice. You know, they showcased me around, but I didn't have the levels that they required, of course. A lot of the people that worked there had studied in this school, university place, so they said like, well, try to apply for this place and do some studies. And so then I applied for that, and I got in at the first try, and then I studied, and so on and so on. And then other stuff happened in life. So I went to Japan for a year, and then I moved to another place, and I did some more art studies and other stuff and blah, blah, blah. And then eventually, many years later, I was back in like the same city in the beginning again, and I was working in a store, and then suddenly this chance appeared to move to this tiny little rural town and start getting into game developing again. And I took the chance. That's how I got more into it. Yeah. Which game surprised you the most? Game surprised me the most. I do recall one game, you know, Okami. Not only one time, but it was like 2 or 3 times when I thought, this is it. I have reached the end, we're gonna have an epic fight, and then the game is over. But then the game continued, and I was like, what? And then I played, and it was an epic fight again, and I was like, this is it. Now the game is over. And it continued again. I was like, what? And that game was beautiful. It was a really beautiful game. Which game was the biggest disappointment? Dead Space 3. I should play through the third again, just to, you know, refresh my memory a bit. Like, it wasn't all bad, but it was also like, And I remember Fear 3 was also like in the same category for me. Dead Space 3 and Fear 3 were both games that was like, you know, could have been so good. Even a bigger disappointment, I think Fear 3 was so much action. I know Fear 1 was a bit more mysterious and a little bit more on the fear side, like it was scarier. Fear 2, again, like an upgrade of Fear 1, and it became even better. And then Fear 3 came in, it was like, bleh, what the fuck? It really fell flat. You miss all of the like scary parts. That's not even kind of scary. Who is your dream collab? Let's say 100k subs and above. I think That's Black would be a lot of fun. At least what I imagine, you know? I don't know. I watch a lot of his content, and I think we could have a fun time. Do some fun content. It doesn't even have to be like gaming or do something, you know, creative or something else. Like he does a lot of different content. What made you choose your avatar? I have my red panda onesie, right, that I wear sometimes. Kind of like creating a little bit of a anime me, like many people do on YouTube, but like a red panda in general, like how they are. Just doing some funny faces, because I do a lot of faces when I do my videos. So PG Venom 1985 asks, I'll simply ask your favorite 5 video game series of all time and why. Favorite 5 video game series is like Fatal Frame, Project Zero, the creators again of Shadow of the Colossus and all of their games, the creators of Heavy Rain and Detroit Become Human, and also Fahrenheit, I think, the Silent Hill series. Guess I would put Dead Space in there, or I would maybe say, but I also haven't really played those a lot. I'm really fascinated about the Souls games. Like, I love them, but even if I haven't played them a ton, I really love them. I guess I'm a little bit afraid of looking like a Dodge loser. Creators of Shadow of Colossus and The Last Guardian, Eco. I love those games because they are very magical and very mystical, and Shadow of Colossus was also very epic. Like, I love their way of creating the games. The story is kind of like, you kind of have to read into it and be like, it's mysterious. I love it. Heavy Rain and Detroit Become Human, choice-based games, choice-based interactive movies. I just love them. The way, again, like how the story is told and the characters also in the games makes it really good. Silent Hill, again, very mysterious and a lot of psychology. Psychological horror games is definitely my top favorite genres. Silent Hill is so creepy and like twisted, and when you read into like the monsters and why they appear and, you know, why do the characters end up in Silent Hill and all those reasons. Chef's Kiss. Dead Space, not only is it nostalgia because of when I got Dead Space 1, amazing. Love the story, I love the setting, I love, you know, again, the storyline behind it and like how everything has gone down. It's one of those games that really brings me into the thought process of like, imagine being in this situation. Imagine. So horrible, so fucking horrible. Ew. Such a nasty fucking thing that happens in that game. And like the design work, crazy. Oh yeah, the Project Zero Fatal Frame series. I love the game mechanics in this game, and also it's set in Japan, which speaks to me a lot. The gameplay in that game is very, very fun. The settings are beautiful. Ooh, the psychological aspect of things. You know, there's a lot of like dead people, and they tell like a story of how the characters have died, and it's kind of like a build up slowly but surely. You walk around and you find journals and things. You can read about like their emotions and things going on while they're like lost in that place, or what's happening before they like completely succumb to their destiny. The ghosts are kind of based many times of how they died, and they reenact like their death scene. And so Valentine asks, what was the first video game you played? Trying to remember. I have a small memory, right, of like the Sega being in our old home from when I can start remembering things. So the very first games I must have played at some point must have been on that Sega. That's what I'm thinking, at least. Probably playing Alex the Kid. Safari Hunt was also a game. Wonder Boy, yeah, Wonder Boy I played a lot of, especially Wonder Boy 1. So I'm gonna say those. If I'm gonna be like, those are probably the first one I played. Don't really have the memories of it still in my head. What was the first video game you played that got you hooked on gaming? I think maybe Ocarina of Time was one of the games that really started getting me more into like, yes, I love gaming. The Nintendo 64, that's when I started getting a lot more into gaming. Nintendo 64 was more also my own console, I think. If money was no obstacle, what country would you want to travel vacation to? Japan. I want to go back to Japan. I've been wanting to go back there for so many years now. What makes you most happy? I'm gonna be cheesy and say the feeling of being free. When I suddenly have those moments where I'm like, I feel free. But otherwise, if we're gonna be more like, you know, gaming makes me happy. Watching funny videos on the YouTube makes me happy. Having movie nights with snacks. I love it. But I can't have it every night. I can only have it on Saturdays. What's your favorite season weather? I love all seasons and I love all weathers. They have their own charms and their own positive things, and you know, when it comes to extremes, of course, it's not as funny. It's not as nice. Favorite game to play in spare time. For the longest time, I've had this guilty pleasure of playing the Suika game. Even if I don't get like the high points, because apparently you can get like thousands of points. I'm stuck at like 3,500 points. I can't get over it. I have played it a lot before I fall asleep because, you know, I don't really have to think a lot, and I just blip, 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 blip. Fruit. Favorite snack? Cherry Coke. Dr. Pepper, kind of similar. Yum. Crisps and chocolate. Marabou Yup. OLW with the sour cream and onion crisps. I love snacks, but it makes me fat. Marcus asked, why do you like the Adventure from right to left like a crazy person? He is pointing towards like this specific footage. I'm sorry to say, Marcus, but you're the crazy person because that footage was inverted. It was inverted footage. Don't come at me calling me crazy, okay? Though I know I am crazy. Kevin Alexson asks, I'm sure someone has already asked you what your favorite game is, so how about this one? From a video game developer's standpoint, what game do you think is objectively the best? Even though I've tried to think about this question, I also think it's a pretty difficult one to answer, like in a short easy breezy way. Question kind of deserves a bit of a broader viewpoint. I am having ton of fun with water park simulators. That's a great game. It's very addictive. Like, if it's the best. Also, why I have a bit of trouble answering that question is because I am very easily impressed. So moving on. Marcus asks, pineapple on pizza, yay or nay? Pineapple on a pizza, it works for me. I'm a pineapple on the pizza person. What is your favorite Japanese word and food? I'm gonna go with food first. Sushi. Sushi. Japanese sushi is so good. The food in Japan overall is the dream. Like, why do I live here in Sweden now? I don't even know. Favorite Japanese word? Baka. Okay, Eeks asks, what are your new goals and expectations for 2026? Good stuff will happen this year. Please, please, please. Goals. We got the bingo card for 2026. I got some, when I start to make some money, I will get proper massage and I will get a haircut, because what am I gonna do with this hair? What am I supposed to do with this hair? Losing more weight. I want to lose more weight. I want to get down to 70. I managed to lose 16 kilos in total last year. More cleaning in the apartment, getting even more stuff, situated, and then doing just a lot of creative work. That's my goals, and the expectations that comes from that is that all of this creative work and all this stuff will lead to, better health and also income and creative work. And I will be paid for being creative and such. That's my expectation. And it's gonna be a great year. Great. What is your least favorite game ever played? Why? Kind of back to that disappointment, I guess. Fear 3 is high on that list of. And Rena asks, what's your dream trip, or have you already done it? My dream trip was going to Japan. I've already done it. Now my dream trip is going there again, I guess. It was so much fun. And then we have a lot of questions from Kaiban. If you could come up with the funniest, weirdest ice cream flavor you could imagine and still would try, what would it be? Like, imagine this, Kaiban. Crisp flavored ice cream, but like those crisps we bought at one point that had apple pie flavor. Would I still try it? Yes, I would. Forest or sea? I think to a small extent. Forests actually, it's a smidge above for me. If you could choose a sequel for any game and it would be made, which game sequel would that be? Would be really cool to see a sequel to Shadow of the Colossus. Even if the story kind of ended in a way, but what? What if something, happens afterwards? That would be cool. If you could play any instrument, what instrument would it be and what song would you like to play on it? I've been thinking since probably teenage years that this would be cool. I remember a classmate, they owned a cello. You sit on a chair and it's such a bass instrument. It's so cool and it's so deep. It sounds so good. And what song would I like to play on it? Oh, it would be cool to learn favorite movies and games. Maybe cool songs from Shadow of the Colossus or from the Zelda series. Or do you say kicks, like kicks or chicks? The war of the word in Sweden. Chicks or kicks. I did read on the internet sometime at some point that both ways of saying it is correct. But I am a kicks person.
You want to eat some chicks?
No, I like some kicks, please.
What is the funniest memory you have with your cats? Funniest memory? Funny when they get playful, we're all playing together and running back and forth in the apartment. And even the older, the sickly Leo, he also gets a little bit riled up and it's and then Ulla also comes like crazy Ulla. And I don't know, there's some memories like that, I guess. Cats can look really funny when they get zoomies, right? What is your favorite time of the year? I do love Christmas. Christmas is really cozy. Putting decorations and maybe baking some certain cookies or whatnot, and you can make things really cozy with pretty much all of the holidays. What is your favorite movie? There are many good movies very close to each other. Geisha's Memoirs is one movie that I've been able to watch it again and again and again. I love that movie. It's beautiful. But then yesterday I was reminded of another, and it's Wolf's Children. And that movie for me is also I love that movie. 2 movies I can watch again and 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 again. Hello, cat. That was all the questions, and I thank you guys so very much for the questions. Kaiban, Shibirina, Eeks, Marcus, Kevin, Valentine, PJ Venom, Cynic, Snurf, Pamochi, Jenny Miles, Angry Gamer Girl, and Who's My Cave. Thank you guys so much for the questions. I had a ton of fun, and I'm hoping the video became really fun and also educational. Now you know more about me as a person. Yay. Yay. But again, thank you guys, and I thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you in another video, in another stream, or in the Discord channel if you choose to join the Discord channel. With that said, take care of yourself, trooper. Bye. I don't know why I clapped. High five. Or I will bye. Boop.
Meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, meow, meow.